Manipur is slipping back into a tense phase. What began as an anger over the killing of 2 children in Bishnupur has now turned into a nightly flashpoints. Hundreds are out on the streets regularly. Curfew is being openly defied. But this is no longer just a protest. Security agencies warn that instigators are hijacking the movement. But there is also another aspect. A lot of people are saying that please do not criminalize the protests that are taking place. Now, security says that anti-social elements are using petrol bombs, iron projectiles and catapults directly targeting security. Now, several rallies have turned violent. Clashes in Kakching, Uripok forced security forces to fire tear gas. Police says that they have arrested over 20 people in connections with the recent clashes. At the same time, there are growing concerns about the re-emergence of armed elements, with authorities flagging renewed activity by groups that had remained subdued in recent months. On the ground, protest organizers insist that the movement is aimed at pressurizing the Centre for Accountability. But the fact is you have a BJP government there. So the pressure should be on Imphal, not on New Delhi. But meanwhile, police says that the maximum restraint is being exercise. So the big question is Manipur heading towards another cycle of violence? Before I play out the bite, let me introduce my guests. I'm joined by Brijesh Pandey, input editor, News 9, PK Mishra from ADG BSF, Colonel Shanti Kumar Sapam, and Hijang Misao, social activist. Thank you, all of you, for joining me. Let me just take opening comments from everyone. Misao, tell me what's happening in Manipur.
Karthike, thank you so much for the show once again. What is happening in Manipur is really disturbing. Normal life has been affected so much, and the machinery of the government cannot be in its own course. So the people, especially the women folks, are holding the flame and protesting on the killing of innocent children, which I would say is very unfortunate. And every sensible citizens and every responsible government has to also condemn this kind of dastardly act of taking the life of innocent people. And what is one of the saddest part of Manipur is taking the life of innocent people has become a kind of sport. And the other unfortunate thing is like before the law taking its own course, unfortunate thing is like the peoples take the law into their own hand, and normal life has been, badly affected, especially for people who are living hand to mouth.
Okay.
Now, what I would also appeal to the people of Manipur is it is understandable taking our anger on the street in any form, but when those kind of protests or rally turns into violence, I think in democracy, such act of violence should not be at all condoned. So I would appeal to every citizens, sensible citizens, let's allow the law to take its course and let the law also come up with fair and fairness on what is happening. Until such things are happening, I think the Manipur will always reel under this turmoil,
Okay.
which is not only affecting the economy, it is also affecting the studies environment of young people. It is also affecting the political environment, the social cohesion, which I would also say it is very unfortunate.
Okay. Brijesh.
Well, I think, it's extremely unfortunate. And but the fact of the matter is that, there are two sides to it. I think, the politicians or the state should have acted with more alacrity, given the fact that Manipur is literally sitting on powder keg, and any kind of, incidence is big enough for them to go back to violence, as is happening with this incident. There's also another side to it, that yes, there could be anti-social element involved, and trying to take advantage of the situation. Now, when you use the word anti-social element, it doesn't mean that the people who are protesting out there are anti-social, but they are always that certain individuals, who kind of take the demonstration, take the protest to another level altogether. Now, the state should have acted with more alacrity. There was no point of attacking the CRPF camp, which resulted in cross-firing, which further caused a death of 2 more people. So I think, that the state should have acted in a more alert fashion, and there should be more dialogue with the people. Otherwise, there's a complete sense of, I would say, the trust factor in the government. That is completely missing.
Okay, Mr. Mishra, why is there such a strong Kokumi mobilization? Let me ask this question. Why is there such a strong Mera Paibi mobilization that we are witnessing right now?
Yes, Karthika, I can well tell you the reason. It's not only what happened at Roglobi. It's not only what happened at TM Kasam village in Ukrul NH202. If it's all because I'm very sure what Sapam and Mr. Pandey they have mentioned. Antisocial elements are again rising, and the worst part of it, you see, we have a number of companies of paramilitary forces there. Few of them they could be sent for election duty in Bengal, but more or less they are still there. I don't find the reason for which the weapons till now they could not recover those weapons which were taken away from police stations and other areas. And I can well tell you, Kartikeya, there are 3 points I'll tell you. The weapons are still coming to Cookie Joke militants. I am very frank in giving the names. I don't bother.
No, no.
I will tell the truth. Cookie Joe are getting, the militants are getting weapons from Myanmar even till today. Number one, because the border is open. Number two, drugs are still coming and poppy cultivation for the last 2 months already started in Surachandpur areas and after Technopal, both left and right side, you find poppy cultivation has started. Number three, the weapon which was used to kill this Charmal Singh, that Nagaland, ex-Nagaland constable at TM Kasom village, it was a sniper rifle. That was used by a well-trained person has killed. Then see the killing of these two children. You see this area, starting from Bishnupur, you cross Moirang. Anybody who is there, he can tell. I will tell you, Kartike. From Moirang, if you go to Torontobi, Terakong, Sangbi, Kwakta, until you go to Churachandpur, right hand side, you have Thangjing and Thanga Hill. From there, the weapons are there with Kijo militants are they are firing. They are firing since the last 2 years and 3 years they are firing. And the firing which took place, the rocket which was fired, it was fired when you say after 3 days of the full night. Before the moon rose, they concentrated very close to the house. See the house they have targeted. Kartika, I'll tell you, it is not a civilian's house.
Okay.
It is the
Okay.
house of a constable of BSF.
Okay, sir, let's go point by point. So let's go point by point. Let me play out
and
the.
they killed 2 minutes.
Okay, let's go point
small
by
kids.
point. Mr. Sapam, before I go to Misao, why is there such strong Kokomi mobilization?
See, when there is a problem, to solve the problem, there has to be, some ways, short term and long term. The people of valley people, or say the Nagas, they have not seen any, short term measures from the government side. That is why a lot of anxiety is there with people. There are 59 elected MLAs in Manipur. One is no more, and election has been done for him to replace him. But what happened is none of the MLAs are coming out and to go with the what do you call the court, or let's say having a crunch or meeting to solve the problem, coming to a common agenda. Nothing of this sort is happening. Long term, maybe something, but then at least short term should be there. The ruling government, the MLAs, whether it is opposition or it is in the ruling, opposition MLAs are also part of the government. They also must come out. They must try to, control the crowd and make them understand, even the, elected, all area members for that matter. Nothing of that sort is happening. Everything is in the dark.
Okay.
That is why those people.
Okay, everything is in the right. Let me play out the bite of Bimol Akawijam, MP from Manipur.
And this 7th April incident happened in the so-called buffer zone areas inside. It still happens. There are army deployment units are there. There are central armed police, CRPF's location is also there. And what we came to know later on is that after the blast, which happened around 1 to 1:30 in the night, early in the morning on 7th, and police station, the officers didn't come there. It's barely 4 or 5 kilometers away from the police station. They didn't arrive. There's a CRPF detachment there, which is barely kilometers away from the spot. They didn't come. I was told that the first respondent were Indian Army unit who came to the site and that too after 3 or 4 hours of the incident. You can see the callous nature of the response of the security establishment in the failure on the part of the administration. They didn't go and rush and cordon off the area. It was the villagers themselves who shifted those injured and those children to hospital, and which have led to a mistrust, as reinforces a prevailing mistrust of the security forces. And next day, early in the morning, agitated people who suspected that despite your presence, how come that this has happened? This has done before. I visited another place where you have security establishment, central security forces, and still bomb blasts happen. People got injured. I tried to go inside. They stopped me again. And surprisingly, at that moment, this is in a place, again in Bishnupur district, called Nganu Khong. I talked to the officer in charge of the police. He can't even go to that place. Can you believe it? A police officer under Indian Constitution can't even visit it. He was stopped by the, this unconstitutional restriction being imposed. Even the police was not allowed there.
Okay. Now let me play out the bite of Rahul Gandhi. He also made an issue of Manipur today.
Look at what they have done to Manipur. A peaceful state, they set fire to it. Hundreds of people died. There is a civil war still carrying on in Manipur.
Okay, Misao, to you. You wanted to come in. Misao.
Yeah, what I would like to say is like jumping the gun at this point would be unfair. I think to my respectable panelists, I think we have to be very sensitive when it comes to Manipur. Because I'm sitting here and I belong to Kuki community and I should not speak for Kuki community. I should speak on behalf of humanity. Now, as I was rightly pointing out the moment when you asked me, I was saying Manipur, the problem is ethnicity is above humanity. What is happening to the two children, it is very unfortunate. Unequivocal condemnation has to be given. At the same time, the same thing happens to two Kuki men, the farmers, innocent farmers Kuki, who were killed mercilessly, but no CSO comes out in condemnation. Just recently, another two Tangkuls were killed. And the Kuki CSO came out strongly condemning, and even other community also came out condemning. What we have to do is we must rise above this ethnicity. We must rise above my own community. We must rise and speak together for humanity.
Yes.
Unless we do that, Manipur will still keep on burning. Now you are speaking for Meiteis. Why would I speak for Kukis? Because these anti-social elements, when government is formed, when Manipur is limping back to normalcy, this anti-social element doesn't want peace in Manipur at all. That's why they are resorting to this.
Okay. Now let me play out the bite of Rahul Gandhi. He also made an issue of Manipur today.
Look at what they have done to Manipur. A peaceful state, they set fire to it. Hundreds of people died. There is a civil war still carrying on in Manipur.
Okay, Misao, to you. You wanted to come in. Misao.
Yeah, what I would like to say is like jumping the gun at this point would be unfair. I think to my respectable panelists, I think we have to be very sensitive when it comes to Manipur. Because I'm sitting here and I belong to Kuki community and I should not speak for Kuki community. I should speak on behalf of humanity. Now, as I was rightly pointing out the moment when you asked me, I was saying Manipur, the problem is ethnicity is above humanity. What is happening to the two children, it is very unfortunate. Unequivocal condemnation has to be given. At the same time, the same thing happens to two Kuki men, the farmers, innocent farmers Kuki, who were killed mercilessly, but no CSO comes out in condemnation. Just recently, another two Tangkuls were killed. And the Kuki CSO came out strongly condemning, and even other community also came out condemning. What we have to do is we must rise above this ethnicity. We must rise above my own community. We must rise and speak together for humanity.
Yes.
Unless we do that, Manipur will still keep on burning. Now you're speaking for Meiteis. Why would I speak for cookies? Because these anti-social elements, when government is formed, when Manipur is limping back to normalcy,
Yes.
this anti-social element doesn't want peace in Manipur at all. That's why they are resorting to this kind of action, killing of children, killing of innocent peoples. This has become a kind of sport which every human being must condemn, and we must not allow these things to happen. Today it's to your community. Today it's to one community. Next time it can also happen to me. Why should we allow these things?
No, I
Whether
completely
it
agree
is
with you. You know,
perpetrated
I
by one
completely,
community
Misao, I
or the other,
completely agree
I
with
think
you.
we must come
I
out
completely
together
agree
and
with you.
condemn
You
all
know,
these
the
things.
state cannot be, the civil society cannot be in the state of constant mobilization, because you know then you challenge the sovereignty of the state. One, because there is a job which the state government needs to do after getting elected. If you completely keep the civil society in the state of mobilization, you agitate the public. You know, people should have the say.
But
If street is for the protest,
Yeah,
but you keep on saying that's pressure.
That's why I'm saying that let's not jump the gun.
And I like your
Because if the
vocabulary. I like your
government
vocabulary.
and
We should
government
always
do
speak
deny
for.
it,
But
We should
Karthikeya,
wait a minute. We should always speak for Manipuri people. You know,
we
I,
wait
yeah,
for
I
the
completely
result of
agree.
the
This
diet,
cookie
can I?
methi thing needs to end.
Yeah.
Only word we should use is Manipur. That's it. That's the only word which should count. Yes, Brajesh.
But I think, you know, I mean, it's a very applaudable line which used by Hijang. He's a regular in our show. But the fact is also there, Karthikeya, that hope is a good breakfast but bad supper. The fact of the matter is that you may denounce ethnicity as much as you want to, but when you let go of the real thing which is there in front of you, which is ethnicity is now 10 times bigger than your state ambition or nationalism or national ambition, then, you know, you keep on going back to that thing is not going to solve anything. The point is that why are we witnessing this, what we are witnessing right in front of you? It is because a state has not been able to work out a system or work out a compromise or work out a scenario where they are able to get both sides sit together, or at least make sure that they are there to defang the
I have
social,
an added point
the
to it.
the social groups. The state has not been able to defang them. Now, you know,
I have one more
you
added point to
cannot
it.
blame.
Yeah.
You cannot blame
Yes.
people. We can mask the real thing of debate with
I-
good words.
I-
but the
I-
fact
no, no,
of
I
the
have one
matter
more
is
point
that
to it, Sapam.
we allowed
Yeah,
it to
yeah.
burn to reach a
Sapam,
level
I
where
have
situation
one more
is like
point
this
to
only.
it. You know, Mr. Sapam, it's
Haji.
peace also requires accountability through the process of judiciary, justice mechanism. I think that has also
Why is there
stalled.
no trust on the state government?
Yeah.
That
The
has
CM has changed. What has changed? Nothing has changed.
That
on the
has
ground.
also stalled. I think that is also one of the reasons. The quick dispensation of justice.
Yeah.
And you know, the attack of there is a murder deplorable, but you have to do it.
Mr. Sapam.
Yeah, yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Sapam.
Okay, that I was telling that short-term measures should be visible to the public so that things are settled down. At least the anger of the people are taken out. That is very important. Short-term measures very important. But what happened is, Kartikeji, what we have to see is that Chief Minister goes to Jiribam, spoke to both the communities, and the next day 2 children were killed here with infiltration. A lot of planning and has been done over there. And then he goes to Krul, and the next day 2 chaps have been shot with sniper and all these things. And again, professionalism is involved in that again. So it is something. Gary was when he went to Pakistan in first service, and then Easy again went to Pakistan, Musharraf, and then that incident happened in JNK. So I think a similarity in that. So the MLAs of Manipur, they need to get together and come to a consensus. And thereafter, if they can solve this problem, otherwise go to this. And then united, yes, this is our Manipur. We have to solve this problem. Come what may. This kind of thing has to be taken by the
okay. Let me take closing comment from Mr. Mishra. Closing comments.
Yes, Karthikeyan, I can well tell you, I have only seen there are 2 persons in Manipur, those who are really working on the ground. Number 1 is the new Chief Minister, and number 2 is the Home Minister, Mr. Das. Why? What has happened to other MLAs from all the community? They are sitting quiet. They are not going to have a discussion. Maybe at Churachandpur, maybe at Bishnupur, maybe in the buffer zone. That is what is lacking.
Maybe they worry about their life.
And you asked me about why Kokomi is coming up. It is not Kokomi. It is the antisocial elements and the leader of antisocial elements in Kokomi. They have instigated this march and protest which is happening, because the incident has happened 2 weeks before at Tronglobi. And in fact, I am very sure, Karthikeyan, our security forces, particularly the Manipur rifles, Manipur police could have definitely found out who have killed these two children. 2 weeks have passed, and
I really I really don't want to, Mr. Mishra, get into that larger issue which I see as a journalist sitting in Delhi is there is suddenly a mobilization of lot of civil society organizations.
It is there.
That
It is
was
there.
something missing. They have come on street, and the entire issue was what miss out 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I have to close.
I would strongly appeal to the people of Manipur, let's give dialogue a chance. Rather than taking the law into our own hands, let's give dialogue a chance. And if the government is handling the case to the NIA, let's wait and watch what is happening.
Okay.
And if mobocracy, as it is happening now, is allowed to happen, then
Okay.
our future, we don't have any hopes.